Welcome. What is up? Welcome to This Week in the Maxer, episode 2.30. We're getting down to it. We got 1 week left. First off, I want to give a shout out to the TWIM crew, our stat department, production department, video department, uploading department, Big Sim conspiracy theorist department. It's been a hell of a run this year. 30 episodes already. I think I'm gonna end it with the end of the NFL fiscal year, which I think it's just before the draft. I think it's March, or maybe it's the end of February.
Okay.
Anyway, that'll wrap up season 2. So we probably got maybe another 8 or 9 episodes or so. We've had an episode every week for probably 20 weeks or something. I started in the preseason. I think every preseason I did a video. Jeff jumped in around week
halfway through the season.
Yeah,
maybe a little later.
Nah, I think it was early. I think it was like week 5 or something. Yeah, but anyway, so I just want to thank you guys for liking, subscribing, sharing,
caring,
all that stuff. So it's been a fun run. We're gonna keep it going. So let's get into it. First or second round of playoffs, or as I like to call it, the week that we find out who plays in the third place game.
That's where you usually are.
Yeah,
right?
the RC honorary
RC Bowl.
Yeah, RC. Oh, what if RC Cola sponsored it?
Oh.
Yeah, the RC Bowl. RC the third place match brought to you by RC Cola. But yeah, so we're gonna get the bullshit out of the way, the games nobody cares about, or not even the games. We're just gonna go over the totals, the standings in the made bracket. So we have myself on top, king of the nerds. I'm at 261 points. Matt has a respectable 239. Danny and Jess are fighting it out. I mean, they're pretty much even. Danny has 204. Jess has 198. I would say I'm happy that I'm dominating the made bracket, especially since I left 30 points on the board last week and have a significant lead. But I'm still embarrassed to be, thrown around with it's poor company. Well, it's not poor. I don't want to go that far. That's just mean. That's something Big Sim would say. But yeah, I mean, it's a fall from grace to be where I'm at. But hey, we're gonna carry some momentum into next year by dominating the made bracket. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Jeff? Danny and Jess.
I have one thought on this.
Are they going to be the made, or can anybody else make a run?
I have a prediction here.
What's up?
Okay. So my prediction in the made bowl in week 16 to figure out who the made is.
Yep.
Is that Jess scores 150.
Okay.
Danny goes 145.
Okay. Ties.
Matt is going, 120 or more. You're going less than 80 to take the made bowl.
That would be.
I'm calling it right now.
That would be a pretty epic collapse. I mean, it's appropriate. We'll probably get into what went right and what went wrong analysis later on. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know, once NFL regular season or playoffs start. But yeah, I mean, it would probably take some injuries to score less than 80. But I mean, crazier things that happened. I did see that it was like a hypothetical lineup. It said if you started, who was the quarterback? If you started Phillip Rivers, Dalvin Cook, who was the running back?
Oh, it was one of those lineups where it was all the big names.
Fournette.
Yeah.
Because he had an off week, right? Fournette.
It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible though.
Yeah. There was maybe it was Aaron Jones. Did Aaron Jones have a bad week? No, he had a good week.
Yeah, he had a
great
touchdown.
Week. I can't remember, but it was was it? No, not. I'm fucking this up.
I saw one of those
excited.
earlier this year where it was like if you started Julio, Saquon, a big name quarterback, and a bunch of other guys that were good, it was like you scored like 45 points on the week or something like that.
It said you would have lost to a team that started Rashard Perriman only.
Yeah.
Or something like that was the punchline.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wish I would have remembered that. You know, next year, a commitment to next season, more prep. That'll be a New Year's resolution. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, crazier things have happened, but I think it's unlikely. I think the maid's going to come down between Jess and Danny.
I think so too, to be
Have
honest.
we had a repeat maid? I know.
I don't think so.
Zach, Danny, Sean was a maid once.
I think Justin got out just enough time before he was a repeat.
Corey was a maid. Mason hasn't been it. I haven't been it. You haven't been it.
I don't think Jake's been it.
Matt hasn't been it. So yeah, I don't think we've had a two-timer. So Danny, I mean, he's flirting with history, flirting with destiny. I can only imagine all the off-season tilt. Woe is me. We should just, I don't know, maybe we'll change his team name to Eeyore's Delight next season if he does lose. If Jess, I mean, what can we do if it's Jess?
I don't know. But a little disappointing this year, nobody changed Zach's name, I believe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially for the playoff game. I thought about it, but fucking forgot. Out of sight, out of mind. Zach, I wish you were around, though. Man, we miss you. We miss you down here in sunny SD. You got anything else on what's going on in the maid bracket where the party definitely isn't at?
I low key want Matt Hale to finish as the maid. Because then that makes his season. He'll have one bright spot in his season. That'll be beating me. But it also would mean that whoever won the final, whether it were me or Sean, would be like Matt's worst nightmare. Him getting the Sally and then having me win, or having Sean become the first back-to-back.
No spoilers. We haven't
my
gotten into
bad.
matchups.
Sorry.
That's all good. All right, so let's get into matchups. We're going to go over Mason versus Sean, a rematch of last season's final. How did it pan out today or over the weekend? So Mason started Eli. He got 16. He got 19 out of Joe Mixon, who looked really good. He got 19 points and didn't even score a touchdown. Chubb had a good day. He got 24. DeAndre got 18. Allen Robinson got 20. Matt Ryan got 20. A total of 132 for Mason on the week. Sean, Jameis Winston, broken thumb and all, started the game by throwing a pick, then went on to throw for 458 yards and 4 touchdowns. Kamara got 13 points. Gurley got 20. Robert Woods came back to earth a little bit. He got 5. Cortland Sutton got 11. Zach Ertz got 17. Ryan Tannehill still is productive. He got 26. And Buffalo's D chipped in with a nice 18. Drum roll. Sean wins 147 to 132. Pretty close matchup, but Sean wins somewhat comfortably. I mean, Buffalo's defense with 18 is I wouldn't call it the difference maker, but you know,
I mean, it helps.
Yeah, it definitely helps getting that many points out of your defense. And you know, when Ryan Tannehill scores 26,
Put some respect on that man's name.
He's trash.
Yeah,
he's trash. I can't wait till somebody. I mean, all it takes is one game to get the game plan right and figure out what they're doing, and then Tannehill is going to be Tannehill. So I mean, what do you see? Sean, back-to-back seasons making the championship.
I mean, this has kind of been how these two teams have been playing recently. Sean's team towards the end of the year was probably the last third of the season, started to go on a roll, and he's kind of kept that up through the playoffs. Been probably over 140 a lot of those weeks. Mason, this has kind of been his team. Doesn't really have anyone that is going crazy, so he lacks a little bit of upside. But he's been solid, right? Like, hasn't really had a down week, but also hasn't really had many, like, 160, 170s either.
Yeah.
You know, and it just kind of both teams did their thing, and it just meant that Sean was going to win.
Yeah.
You know, it's always tough when anyone goes over 30, right? You know, 36 is a big score. It also hurts, like, for Mason with Amari having, you know,
Amari showed up.
So this
at
is
the worst possible time.
I actually don't blame Amari in this one because, like, none of the Cowboys receivers really did anything. Gallup had a 1-point game.
Yeah.
This was really just a running back game for Dallas, which was probably a little surprising. But, you know, it just happened at the worst time for Mason. It's really what it was.
It's somewhat poetic justice. Mason going down thanks to Amari Cooper. You know, he left Sterling Shepard on the bench, but you're not really going to start Sterling Shepard over DeAndre Hopkins and Allen Robinson, so you can't really blame that play call or that you know, start sit call. It's just, I mean, Mason. One of these teams is going to go back-to-back championships. Championship games. Mason fell to Sean last year in the final. This year he falls to him in the semis. So, you know, keep chopping that wood, Mace. Maybe you'll get there someday. But consolation, third place game.
You're in the RC Bowl.
Game. I mean, you know, you got no pressure. There's a lot of benefits. I mean, imagine winning the third place game. You'll feel better than you did losing the final last year. So I mean,
words of wisdom from RC over here.
Yeah. Trust me. Okay, so that one's done. Unless you got anything else.
That's all I got for that.
All right, my man here. He took on Jake, and this was just. I mean, your team the last 2 weeks didn't do so good. Maybe they were resting up. Having that bye. We'll go over Jake's first. He got 31 out of Drew Brees in a valiant comeback effort that meant absolutely nothing. He got 27 out of Chris Carson. Mostert, he got 10. Michael Thomas got 31 last night too. OBJ got him 14. And Garoppolo got him 14. Defense, Baltimore only got him 7. Thielen only got him 5. Jared Cook got him 9. Total on 148, pretty respectable, but I mean, it clearly wasn't enough. You got 17 out of Kyler, 36 out of McCaffrey, 18 out of Godwin, 27 out of Lockett, 18 out of Keenan Allen, 27. George Kittle got 27 points.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 75% of their receiving yards on the day.
Josh Allen got 16, and New England defense back to where they were after, you know, making it look like they didn't have game tape from last week in at least the first half. But they scored 20 in the end. You put up a nice 185 and just, I mean, crushed Jake.
Yeah, I mean, so this matchup started off pretty well on Sunday. I mean, McCaffrey got a touchdown early. I actually made a change. I was up early on Sunday. I had Gallup in the lineup over Tyler Lockett. Then I forget how I was on my computer. I saw a quote from Russell Wilson that I think it was from Saturday that Lockett finally looked good after his injury, and they thought he was ready for a big day. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me throw Lockett in. I've rolled with him most of the year anyway. So that turns out to be, you know, kind of a lucky move on game day, but it paid off. Everyone else, you know, Lockett and McCaffrey were the two big scorers. Everyone else was right around their average. Well, Kittle was over a little bit too.
Right around their average.
I mean, to be honest, like,
yeah.
I mean, the only one, like, Kittle, McCaffrey, and Lockett were above. Godwin put up 18 in one half.
Yeah.
Keenan had a solid day, 9 for 99.
I'm just saying, you know, an average day for your team, you're scoring like 150. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it does help that they're, you know, around their average. It's a luxury that us peasants or commoners.
Oh my God!
In the,
I didn't
in the
even mean it
mixer.
like that. I do feel bad for Jake. He would have won the other semifinal over either Sean or Mason. Just happened to be, unlucky matchup wise there.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is I had a 108-point lead going into last night, and the combination of Breeze, Michael Thomas, and Jared Cook put up 70 plus in the first half.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit worried.
That would have been the comeback of all comebacks.
Yeah, I was lucky the Colts weren't able to really do anything yesterday, because if they kept that game close, I think Jake could have got this to 160, 170.
Yeah.
Because the Saints would have needed to keep scoring, and they would have just gone to what was working, right? But yeah, that's really all I got for that.
So, our final, Jeff versus Sean. I predicted it first. I can't remember what my prediction was in the preseason. I don't think it was. I think I did actually predict Sean would make it back, but then I predicted that he would lose. And I think, I don't know, I might have said Mason was going to be the winner. I can't really remember. But Sean, chance of going back to back, I don't think anybody's gone, has made the final after, even had a chance of going back to back. Maybe Matt did in the early years. I can't remember. And nobody wants to remember that shit anyway. But yeah, so big matchup, big symbol.
How does that make you feel?
I kind of feel validated a little bit. All my hypothesis, all the dots are connecting, and I feel like it gives us fuel. The coalition of the against Big Sim. I need to come up with an acronym. I'm working on it, and it needs to be catchy, so that way we can join. We can get more people to join our forces and start a real uprising.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But stay tuned. But I got ammo. Okay, this is something I've noticed in the last two like election cycles, or I guess the last two like change of from one party to the next. Is it feels like the party that's not holding the presidency, I feel like they have more fun. Just complaining, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
exactly.
It was Obama, it was there was a lot of Fox News, just the ratings probably went through the roof, and vice versa. It's just like that's their time. So yeah. Next season, it's gonna be our time for the coalition against Big Sim. So you made the title game.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? Like, what's your mindset heading in and prepping for the title game? I know when I made the finals 84 years ago, I was sending Zach gifts of the good, the bad, and the ugly nonstop, trying to get in his head, trying to intimidate him. I won, but I didn't get any reaction out of him, so it was not as fun as I hoped it was going to be. So what's your mindset, man?
Yeah, so, for me, it's kind of, I feel like I've been heading this way most of the year. The team's been performing very well.
Yeah.
Had a couple down weeks a couple weeks ago.
Did you get nervous? Did you question your process at all? Or did you stay strong, weather the storm, maybe read some Russell Wilson inspirational quotes?
So
let's go.
I never questioned the process, but if you look into like stats long enough, you see the term regression to the mean, right? Mm-hmm. And my team's been performing at I'd call it an outlier, right? Mm-hmm. Like I've been routinely over 150.
Undersized white running backs don't usually put up 30 plus points
consistently for
a whole season,
right? And so at some point I figured there would be some regression back to where everyone else has been at, and I thought that had really hit a couple weeks ago when I got the first round bye, really when I played Matt in week 13. Mm-hmm. My team put up 100 or 101, right? Like real low. Then the week of the bye, I put up 130, which is a decent week in this league, but it's not nowhere near like a great week.
Yep.
And it had been, I put up my 2 lowest scores of the year back to back, right, going into the playoffs. It's a little nerve-wracking when that happens, especially when you've been so good most of the year.
Yep.
Then this week, it was nice to see like things kind of get back to where they were. But it's always nerve-wracking anytime you go into a winner-take-all, right? Because over 2 or 3 weeks, I'm confident that I'm going to beat Sean most 2 or 3 week periods.
Yep.
Right? Like his team's solid, but I just think my team is better. But we go into a 1 week thing, especially he's got, I'm a big Jameis fan, right? So like I understand what Jameis can do. He's got Kamara and Gurley who could both blow up at any given moment. Ertz can just go for like 15 catches in a game.
Yep.
Stuff like that are worrisome, right? Like I think if I'm going to win the final, I'm going to have to score 150 or more, right? And while I think that's definitely doable, going into this week, it looks like Dalvin might not play, based on what Schefter reported.
Yeah.
I know Zimmer said that Dalvin probably could have played on Sunday had they needed him, but they were blowing the team out, so they kind of just let him sit. Also, I lose Godwin, who's been the number 2 fantasy wide receiver on the season. So lose a couple guys going into the final. Don't like that, but I still like my team and I like my chances. So I think that's where I'm at. I think overall it's been a successful year. But I would love to come away with the title.
Yeah. Anything else short of a championship, I'm sure you'll be disappointed. While as Sean, I believe, snuck in as the 6th seed, right?
Yeah, I mean, Sean was 4-9.
Yeah,
and
4-9. He's in the title game based on, he qualified based on points. So.
Right, which I like. I like that he was able to get in. I think teams should be rewarded for scoring points.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
Sean had an interesting season because he started out pretty good and then had a really down mid third of the season, wasn't scoring that many points. Then he just kept clawing back and his team has kind of hit its stride. So I mean, that's your mentality heading into it. Let's get into the matchup. We're going to go head-to-head. So he's got Jameis as his QB, QB1. You got Kyler in there.
Yeah.
He's got Kamara. You got McCaffrey. He's got Gurley. You got Dalvin. He's got Robert Woods. You got Tyler Lockett. He's got Cortland Sutton. You have Christian Kirk. He's going to... he picked up Rashard Perriman.
Yeah, he had Rashard last week and didn't play him.
Okay. You got Keenan Allen, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, Ryan Tannehill, Josh Allen, Buffalo D, New England D. Let's look at some bench options here. You guys both have injured Tampa Bay wide receivers. He's got Mack, Hyde, Latavius, Gardner Minshew, DeAndre Washington, right? Tyler Higbee, who's been good of late.
Yeah.
You got Godwin, who's hurt, Gallup, Jamal Williams, David Johnson, Trubisky, Devonta Freeman, and
Justin Watson.
Okay, I was gonna say who is this scrub down there? So I mean, to me, there aren't really anybody. There isn't really anybody in the bench. I guess the main question mark really is, Sean could start Mac over. No, I wouldn't start him over Gurley. I mean, he could. Indy's got a good offensive line, and Gurley's been kind of hit and miss and is going up against San Francisco, who I believe has a very good run defense. They got a lot of guys injured, but I mean, Julio, he tore him up in the passing game, and they've been allowing a lot of points through the air. San Francisco has. So I mean, that might be a decision Sean's deciding on. And then, I mean, you got Dalvin, who might miss, and who you slot. I mean, I don't want to give anything away. I mean, but looking at your bench, you probably got Jamal Williams and.
No, I'd probably throw Devonta Freeman in there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's good. I don't know what he's been.
He's playing Jacksonville.
Okay.
Jacksonville defense hasn't been great. Devontae's been solid since coming back from injury. 10, 19. He had 6 against San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but my thought process there is Jacksonville just hasn't been very good. You know, and if I'm going to play one, I'll take the guy who I know can perform.
Yep.
And I know is the number one, right? Like, that's the problem with a guy like Jamal Williams. While I like him, he gets playing time. He's not their number one, right? Like, if Aaron Jones is playing, Aaron Jones is the number one.
Fuck. And you gotta tilt too, because Dalvin's a Monday night guy, so you gotta make that decision. Either, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is at least with Devontae, I get to wait till Sunday, right? Because he plays on Sunday. But to be completely honest, the decision will probably come down to Thursday or Friday.
Practice reports.
You know, is Dalvin practicing? Are they talking about it like he's going to play? If there's even any kind of hesitation there, I might just throw Devontae in. Yeah, I mean, the tough thing with Dalvin, too, is Dalvin hasn't been terrible, but if you look at his last few games, he's 16, 12, 15, 6.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not bad, but also not where he was earlier in the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Ever since this, like, shoulder injury kind of happened. So,
yeah.
I mean, Devontae might just get the play if there's any kind of question about Dalvin. Even if Dalvin might play, I might throw Devontae in there just because I'd rather take the guy that's healthy.
That makes sense.
You know, since this is the second time this has happened to Dalvin where he's fallen wrong and gone out for the game.
Yeah. So you're projected right now for 148. I think that's with Dalvin in. Sean is projected for 133. If Dalvin's out, that's going to drop you down to probably about 140-ish.
It drops me down 5 points based on ESPN projections.
Okay. 5 points.
Yeah.
Devontae's projected for 17? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's still closer. So I think I think it's gonna be a great matchup. We haven't really had a huge, you know, marquee game between like somebody competing either to get in the playoffs last minute. We've had some good regular season matches. I mean, I guess there was a good game last round, right? Zach's game was pretty good if I remember right. But
yeah, Zach and Jake.
Yeah. So I mean, this I mean, Sean's checking in finally in the mixer since he's I don't know, he's coming out of the programming for Big Sim World. I guess they take December off. Must be nice. But you know, I guess you would think they'd be busy like running Amazon, which is basically controlling the world. But it's good to see him there, so maybe we'll get a little polite banter from him. You know, maybe you can get in his head a little, increase the chatter. I'm excited. I don't feel like, you know, I'll be able to enjoy this. You know, sometimes like when the Chargers would lose to the Patriots in the playoffs, and then I'd watch the Super Bowl and it'd be the Patriots, you know, major FOMO, depression, couldn't even enjoy the game. You know, just drinking as many free drinks that have questionable expiration dates at Matt's as I possibly could. So I mean, this year I'll be able to enjoy it. I won't feel like I'm missing out on so much because my team was such hot garbage during the regular season.
There you go.
Meanwhile, you're gonna be tilting the whole time. Stress shits. Rest in peace. Where, you know, the city plumbing from wherever you're at.
I mean, maybe I might just go like keep myself busy this weekend and not even pay attention.
Yeah,
I haven't decided yet.
What are you gonna do if you win?
You'll find out.
I think that's a good teaser. You got anything else to add?
That's all.
All right, let's get out of here. Jeff versus Sean this week. Stay tuned. Scoreboard watch. It's gonna be one for the ages. Yeah. I'm excited. Let's get it, guys.
Let's
See ya.
go.